Welcome back. Garuda Indonesia suffered defeat in the case of a lawsuit for payment of aircraft leases with an aircraft charter company or lessor at the London Court International Arbitration. Regarding the defeat, Garuda Indonesia is required to make rent payments for the aircraft lease and obligations.
Garuda Indonesia suffered a defeat in the case of a lawsuit for payment of aircraft leased with one of the aircraft charter companies at the London Court of International Arbitration. Regarding the decision, Garuda Indonesia President Director Irfan Setiaputra stated that the company is currently coordinating with the legal counsel who handles the case to consider the next steps the company can take. Initially, the state-owned airline received a report on September 6, 2021 that LCIA had handed down an arbitration award in the case of a lawsuit from lessor Helis and Atterissage Goshak against Garuda Indonesia regarding the payment of aircraft rent. The LCIA renders an arbitration award which, in essence, the company is required to make rent payments for the aircraft lease and obligations under the aircraft lease agreement. This includes payment of flat interest as well as payment of the plaintiff's court fees. For information, it is known that Garuda Indonesia has several times received lawsuits from lessors since last year because it is considered that it has not fully fulfilled its obligations or is suspected of default. One of the most frequent is the lawsuit from Helis, who initially filed a lawsuit in the Dutch court containing a request for confiscation of funds belonging to Garuda Indonesia which was in the Dutch account. The court granted the lawsuit in March 2020. IDX Channel reports.
Regarding the loss of Garuda Indonesia at the London Court International Arbitration, the Minister of SOE has directly asked Garuda Indonesia to review and take further steps on the LCIA court's decision.
The Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises spoke up regarding the loss of Garuda Indonesia at the London Court International Arbitration. The state-owned airline lost in the case of a planned rental payment lawsuit with one of the aircraft charter companies or lessor. Special staff to the Minister of SOEs, Arya Sinulinga, said the Ministry of SOEs was currently asking Garuda Indonesia to learn more about the court's decision. However, Arya ensured that Garuda Indonesia's defeat by the lessor would not disrupt the company's operations. He said Garuda Indonesia flights would continue as normal. Previously, Garuda Indonesia Finance and Risk Management Director Prasetyo said on September 6, 2021, the company received information that the London Court International Arbitration had rendered an arbitration decision in the case of a lawsuit from lessor Helis and Atterissage or Goshak against Garuda Indonesia regarding the payment of aircraft rental fees. Meanwhile, President Director of Garuda Indonesia Irfan Setiaputra stated that the company was coordinating with the legal representatives who handled this case to consider the next steps the company could take. IDX Channel reports.
Meanwhile, Garuda Indonesia is getting more and more difficult to get out of losses. Even the net loss of the state-owned airline reached 12.8 trillion rupiah in the first semester of 2021.
Garuda Indonesia is getting more and more difficult to get out of losses. Even the net loss of this state-owned company increased significantly in the first semester of 2021. Based on financial statements, the company recorded a net loss of $898.65 million. The net loss was 26% higher than loss in the first semester of 2020 of $712.72 million. Garuda Indonesia's inflated loss was also due to the fall in the company's operating income to only $696.8 million. Meantime, the biggest decrease in revenue was from scheduled flights, which fell from $750.25 million to $556.53 million. IDX Channel reports.
Garuda Garuda Indonesia is reported to have cancelled all orders for Airbus aircraft and handed over 20 units of A320 aircraft to its subsidiary Citilink. The decision is related to raise Citilink, which will be included in the Indonesian Aviation and Tourism Holding.
Garuda Indonesia is reported to have cancelled all orders for Airbus aircraft and handed over 20 aircraft to Citilink Indonesia. This decision is the result of a company meeting held on September 1st, 2021. The move was based on a management decision in which Garuda decided that Citilink Indonesia would be raised and Garuda Indonesia would be reduced. Citilink Indonesia shares are indeed dominated by Garuda Indonesia. Therefore, Citilink's empowerment efforts are also a management initiative to maintain the sustainability of the parent business. The decision to raise Citilink is also related to the establishment of the Indonesian state-owned aviation holding, where Citilink will be included in the holding, which is currently being formed by the government through the Ministry of SOEs. The progress of the establishment of the holding is currently still in the stage of finalizing a government regulation. It is targeted that this holding will be formed at the end of the third quarter of 2021. The entry of Citilink will replace its parent, Garuda Indonesia, which is currently still in the process of restructuring for a number of obligations to its creditors. IDX Channel reports.